Hello everyone, my name is Christopher Palumberi and I'm going to talk to you today about board games and how they can change our lives and what makes a good game. So, for my main points for starters, I'm going to talk about how they impact our health and how they can actually be very good for you. Next up, I'm going to talk about how they change the way we think. And lastly, I'm going to close off with what goes into making a good game, and if you are so inclined, how you yourself can go about making one. So, first up, how are they good for you? So for my image, I chose Operation because what else relates to health? So I'd like to first talk about how they can aid in your social health and emotion and sort of keeping up with that. Because while many people do play games such as video and such to sort of deal with stress and take a break away from work, what is sort of missing, which can be evident, is the social interaction that really helps a lot of people. In my experience, I know, for example, one local business that really tries to shift and push towards this. It's called Hawkwood Games Cafe. It's located in, I want to say, Milford. And in talking to the owner, what he's told me in his experience is games are a good way to help people feel better and to really express themselves. In other studies that I've also seen, they've done work and research to showing on how it not so much as changing the way people think, that's the next slide, but it helps to resettle a person and bring them back to a point where they can refocus themselves and deal with stress. But nonetheless, next is mental games and how they can change the way you think. So when you think of games, what are some of the different ones you guys think of?
Sorry.
Okay.
Monopoly.
CSGO?
More board game, but we'll get to that.
Uno.
Precisely. Games take many different forms and shapes, and depending on the games that you gravitated toward or are playing, it sort of changes how you'll think and will go about certain situations. One of the biggest examples of this is almost within my own friend group. For us, so for example, my group of friends who play Risk, they're more aggressive in certain situations because they're, from the way the situation they've been run through, the scenarios they've been brought upon, they're taught to go in to make tactical decisions, but more aggressive ones in the long run. Then my group of friends, like my brother and my friend, or my sister's fiance Matt, we like to play Catan. So it was Catan. Now for those of you who don't know, Catan's a game based off of settling, collecting resources, and trading with the fellow players to get to first and 10 points. So that game teaches more about working together in a sense and trading and how to cooperate and make deals. Once again, another way of how it can change the way we think and go about our day. Then going forward, how do you make a game? So in high school, I took Intro to Game Design, which went into making video games. However, our first project, which is one of the ones that I took most with me, was we had to make a board game. This has also gone and helped me a little bit with stuff like, for example, ever trying to run a game like D&D, but that's a little bit more product heavy. So my game design teacher would always recommend to me when starting out is to find your name basis on who you're marketing to, or who you're trying to entertain with the game, and then from there you want to develop the end goal. How do they win? Is it through points? Is it through attacking other people? What are sort of the key moments that lead to the victory? And then in doing so, as you build up and make rules for that, for situational, you also then on top of it layer setting, artistic elements, pieces, what do they look like, and which such things, in which together you want them to all sort of come together so that they match and they don't seem like you're taking a war, something from a world war into Candyland, for example. So with another friend of mine, my friend John, in talking, who's also very focused in game design, we would work on projects together to actually make games for competitions. So in doing so, while he was our art director, he would tell me how to sort of probably do this, and it goes beyond just setting and making sure pieces match, but also a sense of color when you design it. And having light colors sort of to fit and gradients to shade, instead of making radical changes. Sometimes that look can work, but overall you want to be careful when designing a game. Lastly, if you're designing a game, I highly recommend playtesting. This is what will prepare you for any new rules that need to be created and contradictions, and I recommend doing it extensively. And if any of you are now so inclined to make a game, please let me know. I'd love to try it. So, to review, they help you with your health, mostly mental, but it also helps you socially adapt and learn. It changes the way we think based off what we play, and when it comes to making a game, just make sure you have a clear idea of what you're going towards. And this was my sources.